Hey there, welcome back to Sea Power. Welcome to the LaFayette class. The LaFayette ships are now in the game if you subscribe to the mod, link down below. Now, these ships are a bit in the spectrum of less violence. They're not supposed to do full blue-on-blue encounters. So, this ship is, well, in this situation where I've put it on the North Atlantic, quite literally out of its depth, and it's going to get tested by 3 different platforms. The ship has some decent capabilities. We have a couple of Crotal missiles. They don't have a ton of range, like it's just 15. It's a short-range surface-to-air missile, and it's, well, it's fast, I'll give you that much, 2334. The problem is, you don't get more than 8. So if you got a bunch of Soviet missiles coming in, you better hope that those first missiles all hit their targets, and that is it, because you don't get more reloads. Plus, something the ship does not have is the Sea Whiz. It does not come with a defensive weapon. So any way that you can shoot down those missiles, well, I guess it's going to have to be their 100mm gun, because you don't get anything else. That will be it. As for the rest of the weapons, we have the M40, which is the Exocet. Apparently it's, well, I'm going to say it's a more modern version of the Exocet, because they get a 110-mile range, which is almost double what a regular harpoon gets. They're fairly quick, 620, which is I think 60 knots faster than a harpoon, and I think they're doing about the same level of damage, although most of the time if a ship starts getting hit by a missile, that usually does it in. As for the rest, we have 16 MU-90 torpedoes. These have a range of 12 miles, which is quite good. Because with that, you tend to stay outside of the range of most units. We already have one of the visual contacts coming in. That's an Su-24. Birds away? I gave you a weapons tight order. Why are you actually engaging this contact? Anyway, that's the Exocet. Sorry, oh. Missed that one. That was the Crotal. Crotal again. Better knock it out of the sky. Got it. Okay, good. So, that was the first threat dealt with. That Su-24 apparently did nail me. Okay, let's do that again. Alright, reset. Now, let's have a look at what this thing can see. Because we have a couple of different sensors. We've got a combined air and surface search. That's the DBRV-15, capable of detecting at 70 miles. So let's turn that on. If you, I think, don't turn that one on, you don't get an air search. But you can still use your surface search radar with the standard nav radar. It's a 17-mile range. It's not really going to give you an early detection, but hey, it's better than nothing. We already got that hostile bird over there. I'm going to tell this ship to go weapons tight. I'll explain why this is here in a minute. The Lafayette's going to have to deal with this thing all by itself. This aircraft has, well, not quite yet entered range. Which gives me some time to talk about the rest of the sensor systems. We have our own sonar array, and this Blue Hunter has a massive range. 70 miles of passive range on the sonar. I'm not sure how the French made this ship so quiet, or rather this sensor so good at detecting stuff, but 70 miles? That basically means if you're just slowly moving along at 5 to 10 knots, you can detect a submarine at extreme distances. There is a submarine in this little scenario that I've put up. Well, scenario is quite the, the liberal term for it. But, yeah. This ship has a phenomenal sensor. Phenomenal sonar, that is. Active range of 18. Let me compare that to the Antrim, which is an Oliver Hazard Perry. I'd say the Perry is a bit more rounded, because it also carries a lot more of their standard missiles, capable of going after surface and aircraft. So in that sense, I'd say it does better than Lafayette. But for the sonar, you got 10 kilometers of passive range. Towed array, 24. So this ship, the Lafayette, has almost 3 times that range, which is very impressive. Right, there goes the Crotal. Very, very impressive. And I think it's a bit much. I'm not sure if it's, let's say, in line with what the real capabilities of that sensor are. Maybe that's just exactly what it should be. Maybe it's a bit much. Anyway, it looks like this Crotal is not going to get fooled by the decoy. So that is one SU-24 Alpha dead. Now let's turn the radar off. Something else that we have in this ship is the ESM, so we can start detecting enemy radars. It's not really anything special. I mean, I think all ships of any capability have that, and they seem to all use pretty much the same bands that they're looking at. And then we got the the ECM jammer, defensive countermeasure jammers. I think it's an automatic system because there isn't, as far as I can tell, any way to turn that on or off by yourself. So we'll just have to leave that over to the AI. Now, this is a stealth ship, right? So supposedly it is difficult to detect on radar. Let's first have a look at the Antrim. I'm going to go to F10. And over here, if you go to the sensors overview, the F10 menu, by the way, is the dev menu. You can see the sensors. It says own RCS, radar cross-section is semi-large. If I go to the LaFayette, it is small. Own VID range, 13 miles. So the ship, I'd say, is a little bigger and easier to detect an ID than the Antrim. Because the Antrim, I presume, is smaller. But this ship's not particularly stealthy. The LaFayette is. Infrared signature, 100, 1000. So if for some reason you're trying to target it with an IR-seeking weapon, I'm not sure who even has that, then you would most likely find this ship a heck of a lot sooner than you do the LaFayette. Noise, she's a bit noisier compared to the Antrim. You got 150 out of 155. If I go ahead full, I imagine that we're going to be a little louder. Oh, sorry, 150 is probably the minimum, and 160 is what I'm currently doing. I'm going to say all stop. You should see that number go down. This is pretty comparable to the Antrim. The Antrim is slightly quieter. But of course, the main thing here is the radar cross-section. Because it means that if the enemy has any kind of a radar on, you're not as likely to get detected. What the ship also has access to is a helicopter. They are kind of borrowing that one, I think, from the Americans. As I mentioned, it's a kit bash, and with that, it's not going to get its own helicopter. Yeah, that's a US Navy bird. This, however, does very much increase the capabilities of this ship, especially against ASW, or rather in ASW situations. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to move you out. You're supposed to maintain your formation. I thought I had that helo selected. Hello. Potentially later we'll even have a French helicopter. I don't know. Anyway, let's assume that this helicopter is here to detect me. If its surface search is on, it might be able to detect the Antrim a heck of a lot sooner than it detects the LaFayette because of that low radar cross-section. And there is a submarine. Look at the range, right? Look at the range. This is an Alpha. Now, Alphas are not terribly quiet, especially not at 20 knots. But if this thing is where it claims to be, or at least where my ship seems to think it is, which is there, that means I detected it at almost 55 miles. That's a heck of a lot of range. This ship is also hostile. I think I got that by the detection from the helo, because nothing else is trying to detect anything. Let's see if I can detect it with the surface search as well. No. If I go air search. No. Range 27 miles. No, they might just be beyond the horizon. So in that sense, I guess it explains why we're not detecting this thing. Anyway, this submarine, even if you just have an indication of where it could be, and yes, I'm maintaining my position, even if you have just a slight position indication, that's going to be so important when you're doing ASW with this platform. Because you can just tell your helicopter to go, hey, look, there's something out there, just drop a sonar buoy close to it and figure out what it is. Normally, with, for example, the Antrim, an OHP, you might get a detection with the towed array, but you'd have to be a lot closer. Still, with that towed array, if you're getting maximum range, and that's a big if, you can definitely stay outside of the range of most Soviet torpedoes, not all. But the LaFayette, yeah, she'll definitely have that capability. Now, as for this other platform here, this hostile contact 7003, let's send some of the XSS after that. I'm going to go Salvo 4. This thing wastes no time firing. 1, 2, 3, and 4. What? Why did you pick the 4th one from the other side? Why did you not empty out a battery? Makes no sense to me. But okay. Now, let's see how well these missiles do. They are sea skimmers. Wow, they're low sea skimmers. 9 feet? I think the standard harpoon flies a little higher than that. Send a harpoon after it, just for good measure. Antrim's gonna turn to try and engage it. There's the harpoon. Yeah, see, a harpoon flies at 21, 22 feet, so let's say about 7 meters above the surface. This exocet is going off to do his own thing somehow. This thing flies a lot lower, 9 feet, so 3 meters up. Meaning that this could be more difficult to detect, and with its higher speed, could be more difficult to intercept as well. So this should not be a difficult target to kill. We don't have the submarine anymore. Now the towed array, or sorry, I don't have a towed array. I don't have a towed array on this, I have a towed decoy. So if you are for some reason getting detected by a submarine, you can kind of take action against it. Not great, but it does the trick. Well, it knows that there's a radar. Oh, sorry, it knows that there's a missile. There's the surface-to-air missiles, which are a little late. I think I put a Grisha in. And bang, boom, you're dead. Yeah. I have no clue where this exocet thinks it's going. Because I believe I just told it to go directly for the target. I told the LaFayette, do a salvo of 4. And then this one missile went, yeah, no, that's fine. I'm going northeast, elsewhere. Anyway, a helicopter hunting down a helo is not that special. I just wanted to highlight the range at which you can detect things, especially if you're holding quiet. And I think that if you want to use these in scenarios, you better make sure that they have some form of a sneaky roll. Otherwise, you will find that they are going to get murdered pretty quick. Simply because the LaFayette cannot defend itself very well. Its low detectability, its stealth is its defense. If it cannot do that, well, you can't exactly run away very quickly either. You got a 25 knot top speed, of course, at which speed you're going to be very detectable. So I think it's an interesting platform. Because it relies on stealth, it relies on not having to fight in high, let's say high levels of, or sorry, high violence levels of conflict. But it is definitely an interesting ship to use. And I think the form doesn't quite do it justice. Although, of course, the modder did as good as he could. But I do like the low radar cross-section. Anyway, that'll be it for this video. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. Let me know what your thoughts are on this ship. Especially the towed, no, not the towed array, the sonar array. That's something I'd like to see your opinion on down below in the comments, because I think the sonar array's range of 70 miles is rather much, but I'd like to hear it from you. Thank you for watching. I'll see you soon for more.